Hello, welcome to Levant TV, MidEast In Depth. As the political deadlock and power vacuum continues in Beirut, former Prime Minister Saad Hariri took the move last week of reiterating his desire to end Lebanon's paralysis by voicing support for unconditional dialogue with Hezbollah, while insisting on the election of a consensus figure as president. An editorial in the Beirut-based Daily Star says Hariri has made it clear he has taken unpopular decisions which he believes are in the interests of the country. He is ready to support a consensus president, although there is a March 14 candidate. As he said last week, a few other figures in March 14 are also worthy of his support. This weekend, MP Michel Aoun responded to Hariri, insisting on the same old rhetoric of only I am deserving and only I wield true clout. For Hezbollah, nothing has changed on the presidential front after it endorsed Aoun's candidacy. It hopes these stances represent only politicking and that reason will prevail in the end. Especially since the third pillar of March 8th, Speaker Nabi Berri is optimistic about the chances for dialogue between the future movement and Hezbollah to succeed. Meanwhile, observers will be focused on signals from Iran's vis-à-vis its policy on Lebanon's vacant presidency. The extension of talks on its nuclear program will raise questions as to whether Iran will retain or dispose of its stake in the Lebanese presidential race, which is a useful negotiating card. In the end, the editors argue that with Hariri stressing the acceptance of a compromise candidate, people have some hope the paralysis will finally end. The other side has two choices: to embrace the initiative or spurn it. Politicians might not believe it, but the public is perfectly capable of deciding which camp behaves responsibly at such a critically important crossroads for the country. Raja Abdul Rahim writes an article in the Los Angeles Times titled "The Islamic State and rival al-Nusra Front each strengthen grip on Syria." Al-Nusra Front began attacking towns in northwestern Syria, some of which had been controlled since 2012 by the Free Syrian Army, a group of former civilians and ex-Syrian army soldiers that has in the past been identified as a potential US ally. And this is perhaps very debatable nowadays, given the US-led coalition is fighting the Islamic State, which the Free Syrian Army is in a way part of. Abdul Rahim argues that the new developments mean it would be increasingly difficult for the US to find effective partners in Syria, willing to help coordinate with the Western-led air campaign aimed at checking the expansion of militant Islam in Syria and neighboring Iraq. And by driving out fellow anti-government forces, al-Nusra is following the lead of Islamic State, which now controls much of northeastern Syria and northwestern Iraq. But soon the militant group turned against all other anti-government forces, from the secular to the Islamist, in areas where they had once shared power. Meanwhile, residents are stuck in the middle as their homes and neighborhoods once again become battlegrounds. Activists in Syria reported to the Los Angeles Times on people's fears. The first fear is that Nusra will turn into ISIS, and second, they are afraid of the coalition airstrikes. They are also worried that the regime is going to take advantage of this and advance. That was it for today's brief analysis. For more updates, please visit us on levant.tv. And you could also subscribe to MidEast In Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching and bye for now.